That's really all of the questions that we had set out for Section 106. So was there anything anybody else wanted to raise under the heading of Section 106? Or we've certainly touched on some sustainability issues, and if you're not attending that workshop, you're welcome to raise any of those matters here tonight as well.
I feel a bit different. Is that sounding? I feel a bit different about this because I'm surrounded by experts beyond my limits. But would there be resistance to the idea of actually incorporating some kind of ongoing management of whatever? I mean, it goes back to what Councillor Moss was saying about the use by tenants of what you've provided beautifully. If it all gets used badly, then you may as well not have bothered. So was there some means of putting that into this, or would there be resistance to that from the people present?
Well, not resistance, but I was just wondering how do you actually do that in the existing land use planning regime? You can't necessarily control how people use a building once they've taken occupation. Unless there's a planning condition that says you have to maintain the showers or whatever. You can't have something that says you keep the blinds drawn. It's those sort of issues that land use planning can't really deal with.
But we do have green travel plans, for example, or things that one could have ongoing, compliance every year, showing with changing practices how that's being the spirit of what the local authority wanted is being complied with. Just. By way of example.
I mean, certainly, are there any examples from the industry itself about securing energy, changes in energy usage by occupiers or things like that that we might be able to look to support you on? The gentleman here.
Yes, I'm also a non-expert surrounded by people who know all about it. But my question is probably well answered in the present UDP. When the planning officers look at a major development, how do they decide the range of the S106 levies that are to be... is there a set formula? Do they take a bit of each? And if so, are there proportions that they have to obey and provide for each development? Things like... art and well, we heard them all tonight. It's just, to me, it's just a complete hodgepodge of levies. Is there some simple answer to this? Again, I'm an ignoramus, so...
Certainly not. There is the document I referred to earlier, the Supplementary Planning Guide, 2 volumes of it, which does contain the City Council's it's a complicated process, I have to say, because, as you've heard, it's a complicated process. That's why it's in 2 parts. One explains the policy and the general approach. The other one has, if you like, the tariffs. Both of those, of course, have to be educated by precisely what is the scheme in front of you, what is its own planning history, where it is, and what the scheme itself provides by way of meeting the Council's policies, which are all set out in that massive tome, which is the Unitary Development Plan. And if you fit it into all of those documents, and we do go through these things fairly rigorously, then that gives you one set of answers. But a lot of it has to be educated by the nature of the scheme itself. And, as I say, its particular site and its history. Therefore, it cannot be, as does happen in some places, Milton Keynes is the classic quoted example, a simple tariff, where everything can be set down as if it's all relatively new and starting from a plain sheet of paper. You're not. Here you're dealing with 400 years of property development and very complicated sets of issues and uses, all of which we have to take into account along with what the policies there say the Council is after, and the SPG, Supplementary Guidance, sets out how we think within the law, and the front of the handout contains in the grey box the smallest we could get government advice down to, which is the 5 points of the circular, to prove a relationship between the development, its impact, and what we propose as mitigation, or to secure how those benefits are actually provided. So it will always come down to a degree of case-by-case assessment. The fact that we're revising this document into the LDF, which you're part of tonight, and revising the SPG just proves that we're trying to be as responsive to the various needs and issues and constraints we all face at the moment.